Did you just turn professional? You
Yeah.
just rescinded your amateur status, you turned professional, and then went to Q school?
Yes, you get a piece of paper put in front of you, and it's basically, I will be a professional
That's
golfer.
mad.
Please sign here.
How did Sophie Walker get into golf? Where did it all come from? Where did it all start?
It started back in Cleethorpes, which is on the east coast of England, and my dad played golf. So he played many sports, and like most guys, when he got into his 40s, stopped his cricket and football and started to play golf. He was the handicap secretary at the golf club.
And what golf club was this?
Cleethorpes Golf
Okay.
Club, yeah.
Is that Blackpool way?
No, it's the east coast. So
Ah,
it's still by the sea,
I get you. Yeah, I'm thinking of somewhere else. So it's
like Grimsby.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. I've played a course over there. I can't think what it's called, but it was always super windy.
Oh, very windy. Yeah, I'm good at hitting punch shots.
So he was the handicap secretary
He
there.
was, yeah, and he was just always, he loved it, always at the golf club, and would take me with him, and I would sit there and get a chocolate bar and a can of Coke from the pro shop, go on the putting green. The pro, Eric Sharp, he cut me down a little 8-iron that I would hit around, and this was when I was maybe 5 or 6. I couldn't join the golf club till I was 10, because back in the day, even though it's not a posh club, that is just what happened.
Well, it's weird. It's funny you say that, because actually Dan mentioned that last time. Dan Whittaker mentioned that you couldn't join the golf club till a certain age, but I'm glad now that rule's kind of been banished.
How old-fashioned does that rule seem now? It just seems... I mean, there will be still got some golf
Yeah.
clubs, I guess, that are the same, but that just feels ridiculous, doesn't it now?
Crazy.
It does, and ironically, their junior section at Cleethorpes was amazing. We had over 100 juniors, so the section itself was great.
But all over 10-year-old.
all over 10 to 18, yeah. Maybe because it was full, I don't know, but we would have putting comps, chipping comps, for like a bowl of chips and...
The glory years.
Yeah, here's a fiver. My mum would say, here's a fiver, I'll see you in 12 hours. And it was a really flat golf course, so we just used to play over and over again, and didn't have a driving range. Like, we had the grass 150-yard practice ground, so that is where I learnt to chip the ball up into the golf bag, which now when I give lessons, I think that's the most impressive thing ever. Like, everyone's like, can you teach me to click that ball up into the bag?
And it can't be taught.
No,
You
you've got to
learn
practice.
that as a kid.
It is.
You
You never
learn that.
lose it either, which I like about
You never.
it.
It is like literally riding the bike.
Yeah.
You can flick it through your legs. You can show off a little bit. You can balance the ball on the club face. And it's one of those things. You're right. If you've come into golf later in your life and you've got really good, really quick, you might be able to drive it brilliantly, hit your irons great, chip and putt. But unless you've got that skill to be able to flick it up into your shag bag, is what they're kind of called, you just not got it. And if you've not got it, it's very hard to teach.
Yeah, we used to practice it in the pro shop, and the pro would just be like, get out of the shop, please. And he was great. It was called Paul Davis in the end, and he's the pro there now. He had a bag of clubs, and he would pick out 3 club challenge and be like, just off you go, 3 club challenge, and go out and play. So we all just loved it. We spent every summer down there. And yeah, I got better through playing with people my own age, which I think was really important, because the first year, I played with my stepmom and her friends, and she was maybe 40 years old, and I thought she was well old. and the first year when I was 10, I wouldn't say I kind of enjoyed it, but I didn't love it like I do now. And I played lots of sports: football, swimming, horse riding, hockey, tennis, everything. But it took till I got to about 13, 14, where I really thought, I'm getting all right at this game.
And what was getting all right? What was Sophie kind of 10, 12, 13 kind of handicap playing off at that time?
I was maybe about 9 handicap. I think when I was 14, I had a big year. I think I got down from 9 to 3.
Wow.
And that's when I got into the England sides, and then I was 15 and I won the English girls. So it felt quite quick, I suppose.
Wow. Where did you win the English girls?
Sheringham, Links Golf Course, obviously.
Okay. You had an advantage.
I had a big advantage there. But yeah, stuck my name down for the English girls and went and won it. And then England was saying, well, you're now picked for the home internationals. And I was like, I didn't even really know what that was, I've got to say. But from 15, 16, so for the next 3 years I played for England juniors, and then I went and played for England seniors.
And again, rewind back time, let's say you're 13 when you properly started thinking, I quite actually like golf. Was it at that point you thought, could there be a future in this? Was your dad kind of tempting you into moving into that future? Was Eric, I love that name by the way, Eric Sharp,
Yeah.
What a name for a golf pro that is. And who did you say, Paul?
Paul Davis is the
After
pro
that.
there now, but Eric Sharp was my coach. So
What a great name.
And what a great guy. He had a junior academy. You know, one of the first people that really gave his time up for nothing for juniors. And I think that's because he'd taught a lot of tour players in the 80s and 90s. He was the first swing coach that would just do full swing, and he sent all his short game clients to Harold Swash.
Oh, wow.
So that's, he was very kind of
Pioneer at
forward
that
thinking
point,
in that
yeah.
way. And that's probably why I started to use Phil Kenyon, because Eric was like, that is not my expertise. Get yourself off to see somebody proper.
Wow. So what, from one coast to the other coast?
Yeah.
Because obviously they're on like
M62
Southport.
I know very, very well. But yeah, 13 or 14, I think I started to progress. I played county standard at hockey and swimming. I think I was Midland standard at swimming. I was good at a lot of things, but I didn't maybe excel at them enough. Football as well was something that I was good at, but women's football was non-existent really compared to what it is now. And I thought, I want to be a sports person. I loved the Olympics. You know, I was one of them. I just wanted to be an athlete as such. So that's why golf, I think at the time, maybe golf and tennis is the only sport that women could be seen to make money of. And my parents weren't pushy at all. They were brilliant. My dad and my mum would take me places, but by no means come and like walk the course and bash me for not playing very well. And at the time, actually, like the internet wasn't that big, so I could go abroad. I remember going to the French Open in Paris and telling my dad I shot 73, 72. He didn't know. I mean, why would he?
He couldn't check.
He couldn't check.
And is that what you shot, or did you
No, I
not?
probably shot 74, 75.
Just knock a couple off. That's what Rick does a lot.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's a great thing. I kind of go into Claire and my wife and go, how'd you play? So, I've played really well, because she doesn't watch the videos.
Shot 6 under.
She has no idea. She thinks I'm the best golfer in the world.
Hey, did you have a good time? Yeah, I had a great time. Yeah, that was it, really.
Did you, an interesting one then, so obviously it sounds like Rick said 13, you got really into it and stuff. Did you have that spell that I certainly had? I think Rick probably did a lot of, certainly men seem to do, is you get to like 17, 18 and you start going out and stuff and your golf takes a back seat. Did that happen for you, or were you really kind of regimental with your practice still?
Well, I went to university in England, so I mean that could have easily have got in the way of my progression in golf. I did go out with my friends and stuff. I'm still known as Sensible Soph now. People say, you've had a good night out when Sophie can't remember it. So I will go on nights out, but I don't drink as much. And I suppose that's kind of what I did back then. I was just, would go on a night out, but maybe not drink as much as other people.
See,
but still,
it's a good style, that, because you're still there, you can still be involved with it, but then the next morning you could be at the range grinding while everybody else is in bed.
Yeah.
Hungover.
Pretty much, and that was the same at university. I did the same there. In fact, I had my best year as an amateur in my final year of university. So I actually worked out that I played better golf when I was happy off the golf course and had a bit of distraction. When golf was my be-all and end-all, I got in my own way a bit.
That's really interesting. I want to rewind back time just a little bit before you go back to university again. So again, you kind of 14, 15, 16. Now, again, only because naturally when you're now looking at being an aspiring professional, potentially sports person, athlete, are you looking at inspiration from the likes of Tiger Woods and male tour pros, or do you almost lean on the experience you've seen from like female tour pros? And I'm trying to think at the time who was like the inspiration. Annika Sorensen.
Was Laura Davis still up there then?
Yeah, but it was Laura is still an inspiration, but stuff's not on television back then. That was the hard thing. So Annika would get coverage because, was it Colonial she played at when she played in the men's
That's
event?
right, yeah. And also she shot that 59 in Arizona.
Exactly. So she was just she was above the rest by a long way. And then there would be the Weetabix, which is now the British Open, which I would always try and go to. My stepmom was really keen on going to that event with her friends. So that was the thing that I always tried to go and watch also. But Tiger, if you look at my age, it's probably similar to you, Rick. He's the one where it all started. So the first Masters I remember was the 96 one, watching it with my dad when Faldo won. And then the next one was Tiger. And that was it for me. I wore the red top. I had his shoes. I got his Titleist black and white bag. The practice bag, the shag bag, I got that as well. he was the one, and I think that's what's great about him, that he can inspire men, women, juniors, and he's still doing it now, isn't he?
Of course.
But yeah, luckily he came along, really, because, you know, at 14, 15, I can't imagine golf's that cool.
No.
But he really made it. People knew who he was. I think that was a...
He was more of a superstar than a golfer. He was more of a superstar athlete and a celebrity, as opposed to just being a golfer. Really, obviously, he pioneered so many things. But it was just an interesting take on that. I was intrigued to know if that was still the same, and I kind of guessed it would be. But obviously, Annika was doing incredible things in the women's game as well, and she was kind of winning loads of things and playing in men's events and stuff, and also probably to some degree changed the decimal point in ladies golf. You know, did she start making more money for ladies golf? And then suddenly you're like, well, actually, that becomes an aspirational kind of goal now that I can achieve. You know, and when did it really click in to go, I could be a tour player here. This could be something I really kind of look for in the future.
I wrote in my year 11 yearbook, like, what do you want to do when you're older? And it was a professional golfer. So well, to be fair, I've won the English girls at that point. So I had still do have quite stable parents, and they said you need to get your education. So that's why I went to university, and it was almost like after you've done that, then you can decide. And
did you study nothing to do with golf at university?
No, I did sports science and business management at Loughborough University. So I was there with loads of other athletes, and it was a great time to be there because we just got the Olympic Games for 2012, and everybody was just so buzzing for the run up to that. So it was a really good place to be at that time. And I got surrounded with people in terms of fitness, mentality. That helped me a great deal. And I suppose by the end of that university, people that I was playing alongside in my amateur events were turning pro. So I was the best golfer, I'm going to say in Britain, but I was definitely the best in England. But the people I was playing against internationally, the likes of Carlotta Zagander, Azahara Munoz, Anna Norkvist, Caroline Masson, I mean, like the Solheim Cup team pretty much now. I don't know what happened to me. But yeah, they were all turning pro. And that's what happens. You look at your peers and you think, well, if they're doing it, then why can't I do it? Yeah. So yeah, went off to Q school. And
at that point then at Q school, you didn't do your PGA or anything, did you? Did you just turn professional? You just rescinded your amateur status, you turned professional, and then went to Q school?
Yes, you get a piece of paper put in front of you, and it's basically, I will be a professional golfer.
That's mad.
Please sign here.
What was your handicap at this point then?
Plus 3.
Wow.
I didn't get to +4, it's +3.
Just a very quick one on the plus as well, because a few comments I saw.
Sorry.
Yeah, because I think, do America call it -3?
I don't know, but basically it's to work out the net. You +3 shots to your gross to work out the net. Yeah,
so we were talking recently with Dan Whitaker, and he was talking about how, you know, tour pros are +6, +7, +8 to potentially properly make it on tour, and you were off +3. So after your round of golf, you added 3 shots onto your score instead of taking them away as a normal handicap would do. Yeah. So at that point, were you being sponsored? Were people approaching you with